Overclockers, my name's Bryony, and in this video I'm going to be comparing three recently released lightweight wireless gaming mice: the glorious Model 02, the Endgame XM2We, and the Asus ROG Harpe Ace AimLab Edition. They all offer similar features on the surface, but I want to dive deeper into their specifications, features, and design to help you decide which mouse is best for you if you're looking to upgrade and hit more headshots in 2023. I'll begin by discussing the design and build quality of each gaming mouse. It's normally the first thing you're going to notice, and it's a pretty important factor when deciding between the different models. All three are made of a solid plastic, but each one has a different feel, weight, and a few unique design features. The glorious Model 02 maintains the whole-filled appearance of its predecessors. It's there to reduce weight, but I do also like that you can peek through and see all the internal components and possibly get a tad more airflow across your sweaty palm. It's the only mouse in our lineup with extensive customizable RGB lighting, however, it's also the heaviest at 68 grams. There's a lightly textured finish to the surface that you'll find across the glorious range, and you can choose from a black and white variant with a matching braided cable, buttons, and scroll wheel. The XM2We's design is sleek and durable, and Endgame is known for their excellent build quality, and this mouse is really solid with reliable components and a new large skate design that means that it glides beautifully. It has a completely different feel thanks to the matte finish, and you don't lose grip or feel sticky after a long gaming session. Choose from black or white variants with black buttons, cable, and scroll wheel with a discreet logo and no RGB lighting. Weight-wise, it sits in the middle of our three mice at around 63 grams for the black and 63.5 grams for the white. Finally, the ROG Harpe Ace, which is noticeably the lightest of the bunch at just 54 grams. The plastic body therefore feels a tad less sturdy and more flexible than the other two, but they did have to shave all that weight off somewhere, and how often do you actually forcefully try to squash your mouse anyway? The textured finish is quite like that of the Model 02, but it does have some extra texture across the sides. However, also included in the box is an attractive soft touch rubbery skin grip tape, which can be easily applied to the triggers and the sides to improve your grip, and in my opinion, also the aesthetics. But that bold graphic design might not be for everyone. It's only available in black with some AimLab minty green accents and a subtle ROG and AimLab logo. However, you can adjust the lighting color, and it will flash between different colors as well to indicate that it's pairing and when you're changing the DPI. Moving on to the ergonomics, and you will notice that all three of our mice are ambidextrous with two buttons positioned on the left-hand side. The Glorious is listed as being suitable for medium to large hands, and I would say that all of the mice do fit into this category. However, I do have quite small hands, and I did find them perfectly comfortable to use. The lightweight constructions means they're all comfortable to use for a nice long period of time. They're highly flickable, and they're going to exert less strain on your wrist. I enjoyed using all of them with no issues reaching the buttons or scroll wheel, and I like the side buttons the most on the Endgame as they are harder to accidentally press, and I do like that the DPI button is easily switchable on the fly with the Glorious as it's located on the top of the mouse. Comparing the exact dimensions, the XM2We is 122 by 66 by 38 millimeters and pretty much the exact same shape as the slightly longer Model 02, which is 126 by 66 by 38 millimeters. The Harpe Ace is the longest with dimensions of 127.5 by 63.7 and 39.6 millimeters. In the hand, the XM2 feels the flattest with a smaller arch and flat buttons. Meanwhile, the 02 sits somewhere in the middle, and the Harpe Ace feels like it has the most pronounced arch. Due to their universal size and shape, I think they're probably going to be compatible with all grip styles. All of the mice in the lineup do use slightly different switches, and the left and right buttons are also shaped differently, which does provide a unique feel. The Model O uses glorious switches rated for 80 million clicks. The Harpe has ROG 70 million mechanical switches, and the XM2We has 80 million KL-Go optical switches. At first, I didn't like the flat buttons on the XM2We, but they do feel amazing while you're gaming. It's easy to make slight adjustments to your grip, and your fingers aren't forced into existing channels. The Model O and the Harpe Ace have a slight curve, which does help with the grip, and the buttons on the Harpe are flared to allow for more space for larger fingers, whereas on the Model O, the buttons are longer and narrow. I must say the most satisfying click comes from the XM2We, but the other two do feel good, and they're all very similar to each other overall. All three of the mice make it super easy to switch between the different modes because they do have these dedicated buttons on the underside for connectivity, pairing, and DPI. Overall, I think they're very usable mice, and I don't think that you're going to be disappointed with the ergonomics no matter which one you choose. Now, moving on to the most important section of the video, and that is performance. Being wireless mice, connectivity is quite important, and the Harpe Ace has multiple connectivity options, including USB, Bluetooth 5.1, and ROG Speed Nova wireless technology, which is 2.4 GHz wireless. I really like that the USB dongle can actually be stored inside the mouse for traveling. It's also compatible with NVIDIA Reflex to cut down on input latency. The Model O2 also has three connectivity options: USB, Bluetooth 5.2 LE, and 2.4 GHz wireless. Finally, the XM2We can be connected via 2.4 GHz wireless using a dongle or wired using the included USB-C cable. Compared to the other two mice, it is noticeably lacking Bluetooth connectivity, which can be useful for connecting to a phone or tablet, and it is clearly going to be a deal breaker if it's something you need. Another important feature of a wireless mouse is battery life. The XM2We has a 410 mAh battery capacity and can last for up to a week of gameplay. The Harpe Ace has a lithium-ion battery that lasts for 90 hours without lighting, 79 hours with the default breathing lighting, and that's about half the time of the XM2We. The Glorious claims up to 210 hours but only using Bluetooth, which is not ideal for gaming, and the 110 hours is more likely, meaning that it sits somewhere between the two, and this is with RGB lighting turned off. However, I did find all of them nice and easy to charge with the included USB-C cables, which are long, lightweight, braided, and they prevent snagging, which means that even if you do happen to run out of battery, you're not going to feel tied down. Both the XM2 and the Model O have a unique connector on the end, which is there for a bit of extra support and ensures correct installation. However, the Harpe doesn't have this, but that does mean that it can be used with any USB-C cable. When trying these mice for their intended use, gaming, I found out that I adored the feel and glide of the XM2We. Those massive skates mean that it glides beautifully, and this really helped me flick and aim at speed. The Harpe Ace wasn't quite as slippy across the mat, but there is no feeling of friction, and it does provide more control if you use a higher DPI. Finally, I feel that Glorious could have maybe done a better job with the skates on the Model O2. They aren't quite deep enough, meaning you can sometimes feel it drag. However, if you're going to be using a glass surface, this isn't going to be an issue. The ROG Harpe Ace has the impressive and precise ROG Aimpoint optical sensor, which is a derivative of the Pixar 3399, with a range of 100 to 36,000 DPI and a deviation of less than 1% CPI. It scores extremely highly in reviews, and you'd expect nothing less from an AimLab Edition mouse, and when you combine it with the software, ROG Hone Ace AimLab mousepad, and a lot of training practice to build up that muscle memory, you will literally become a human aimbot with this mouse. The XM2We uses a Pixar PAW3370 sensor with up to 19,000 CPI. It's a slightly older sensor compared to the newer PAW3395, but Endgame has perfected the settings, tuning and accuracy. In detailed and extensive reviews from the likes of Tech Power Up, which I'm going to link below, it does perform extremely well in all of the tests for accuracy, response time and speed. Finally, the Model 02 uses the BAMF 2.0 optical sensor. The name is typical glorious, but it is a decent sensor with up to 26,000 DPI. I tried to find out what Pixar sensor it's based on, but my search did come up empty. The reviews for the performance of this mouse are rather mixed, with some people praising its accuracy and others damning its latency. Personally, I didn't notice any issues with the latest driver update, so maybe this is something that Glorious has managed to smooth out since those early reviews went live, and overall it does feel nice and responsive and it's great for hitting those headshots. Now let's talk about the software that accompanies each gaming mouse. The Harpe Ace uses the Armoury Crate software for customization and configuration. This is the most advanced software out of the bunch, but can also be the most temperamental at times. You can adjust key binding, DPI, angle snapping, button response, polling rate, lighting, surface calibration, and power saving options. It also, of course, works with AimLab, and the settings optimizer software analyzes strengths and play styles to tailor your unique mouse settings. The XM2We has its own configuration software created by Endgame, and it is the most basic of the bunch. It's ideal if you don't want to spend much time fiddling with settings and you do want a lightweight program that's simple to use. Change the button mapping, CPI profiles, polling rate, lift-off distance, angle snapping, and ripple control. The Glorious Model 02 works with the Glorious core software. However, using the software is actually optional since the mouse comes with plenty of useful pre-installed keybinds. It's pretty basic, but it does give all the usual options required with a separate tab for key binding, performance, and lighting. The 4 different DPI settings, lift-off distance, and debounce time can all be adjusted using the slider. Finally, it's time to talk about the pricing, and as you have seen throughout the video, the features of each mouse do vary quite a bit, and so does the cost. The Asus ROG Harpe normally retails for £140, but thanks to an ongoing promotion using the code ASUSAIM on our website, you can actually get 20% off right now for a limited time. On top of this, the ongoing Rate My Gear and Gear It Up cashback promotion means you can claim a further £60, making it just £51. This makes it the bargain of the bunch, whereas without the promos, it would actually be the most expensive. The Glorious Model 02 is available for $99.95 in the wireless variant. Meanwhile, the Endgame XM2We is an affordable option with its $79.99 price tag, but is technically the Essentials model with the more premium W still unlaunched. Which one do you think provides the best value? Overall, I do actually genuinely really like all of these gaming mice, and each model clearly has certain strengths and weaknesses. I'm happy to see such strong competition in the peripheral market once again at the start of 2023. The one you decide to ultimately get does depend on your personal preferences, your budget, and your needs as a gamer. I hope that this comparison has helped you to make an informed decision on which mouse to choose, and do let me know which one it is in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can catch our upcoming content, and I'll catch you again in the next one.